One, we are live. We are live. We are live. Good afternoon. It's lunchtime. I'm going to give a few people a moment to come in. And no worries, because if I will put this on the replay so you guys can catch it whenever you can. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to all my subscribers. Y'all might see me looking up because my uncle's right here behind me. But happy to have you here. If you're coming on, tell me where you're from. Is this your first time catching live, any of my YouTubes? But we're going to talk about some really interesting topics, right? Crap, honestly, that I just want to I need to rant a little bit about some of the wild things, right? Unthinkable things that have happened to me throughout this real estate journey. A lot of you know that I do things a little bit differently. I work tax sales backwards, right? And that all stemmed from me standing on the courthouse steps, attempting to bid on properties, and not being able to compete with some of the guys that were there because they had millions of dollars, and I literally could not compete. Could you tell Dunzy I'll call him right back? But literally, I wasn't able to compete, so I had to pretty much reverse engineer that thing so that I was able to get into this business with the $5 I had. oh Lord. My uncle just had a mess over there, but able to reverse engineer it so that I could get into this business with the $5 that I had, which actually ended up sparking, how you start something is usually how it goes. So it created a niche for me so that I was able to get into properties for, $1,000, $500, $5,000. So honestly, it was probably a great thing that that happened to me that way or whatever. But so I just wanted to listen. This is crazy. Real estate can be absolutely like just one of the most beautiful businesses, right? When it comes to creating passive income for yourself, building net worth. Even during the pandemic, I was able to increase my net worth almost $2 million, right? With so much money, with very little money out of pocket. Like when I say very little, I may have, with buying the properties and doing rehab, may have been all in 30 grand, right? And was able to increase my net worth 2 million over at a time where things just weren't going great. Thank you, Uncle, for, several people or whatever. But here is some of since you guys kind of know how I started again, I had to reverse engineer my way into this business. Standing on the courthouse steps, I could not compete with these people, period, right? So what I had to do is go to homeowners after the property had sold at the tax sale, and buy their redemption rights. Because here in Georgia, you have 12 months that you can buy that house back from the investor. Granted, you have to pay what they bidded the house up, right? So if they purchased that property for $20,000, if I wanted to buy the owner who lost that property's rights from them, you have to give them whatever that investor paid on the courthouse steps plus 20%, which is the law here in Georgia, right? And so, a lot of people, once they lose that property, they may not be able to give 20 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand back plus 20% overage to get those properties back. And so I go to them during that time frame and say, hey, if you don't have the ability to, let me give you some amount of money that will allow me to go back and redeem that property. Okay. And then a lot of times you have that 12-month time span that you can market that property to sell it. So that redemption cost doesn't necessarily have to even come out of your pocket, right? You can just be profiting. That's the lovely part about it, right? You have 12 months that you have to, within 12 months, you have to redeem that property. Or in some cases, it can be longer because it's actually until the tax deed buyer files what is called a foreclosure to the person's right to redeem, right? So even though the law says, hey, you have 12 months redemption period, it actually doesn't really expire until the tax deed buyer files what is called a foreclosure to that right to redeem. However, each additional year that you don't redeem, an additional 10% adds onto that 20%, right? So it could turn to 30, 40, 50, 100%. Just depends on how long it takes anybody to redeem that property. So let me clear that up because it's going to play a great role in the rest of this story. And so anyway, that's how I got into this business, going to the homeowners after, because it was the only way that at the time I could creatively hop into the business with, again, the little money that I had. So now this story, let's lead on up to this. This is the unthinkable. Never thought it would have happened. Never thought it would have happened to me. So purchased a property from a homeowner, and they had, I want to say their redemption period may have been ending like with the following week, Uncle, something like that. Hey, so the redemption period was ending the following week. Hey, cousin, thank you for tuning in. The redemption period, we had a week to redeem this property. Found the owners, got their rights to redeem, paid them off. We go finally see the property. And the only reason we didn't see the property first, number one, when we're getting it for so cheap, sometimes you can take that risk, right? We pay the owner because we ended up stopping. We passed where she lived first, so we stopped there. Got to the property to finally see it after the owner had signed it. This house was, I ain't gonna say immaculate, but it was fixed up. It looked nothing like the Google earth that we seen, where the roof was kind of caving in. And at that moment, instead of calling the taxi buyer saying, hey, we're getting ready to redeem, I said, you know what? I'm going to have to go ahead and have my attorney on standby, because I'm sure I'm going to get some kickback, get some resistance from this. And, the first call, it was a little easy, then I got a call back from the taxi buyer with a little bit of resistance. Fair enough. Okay. I had already made my mind up, because of the repairs that I had seen in the property, that I would give a little bit more, right? To me, I'm going to probably put some money into it anyway, maybe soften the blow a little bit. But this lady became so rude. I mean, she was so rude, and it was kind of woman to woman. And then she was also African American. So I wanted to kind of like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give her a little bit extra with this, right? Got my attorney involved just to kind of, have some documentation and all that stuff. We go drop the money off. Oh, she calls the police on us. I mean, it just goes downhill from there, right? Long story. This lady, I don't even know where to begin, Uncle. Like, from calling the police when we went to take the redemption check, making up all kind of lies, false police reports, took warrants out for my husband and I, stating that we illegally notarized documents, or we committed fraud, because my husband was the notary for our corporation, which is totally legal, and even with all of that, I had to send her the statutes. My attorney had to send her the statutes. We had to go to, let me back up. So first of all, she made a complaint in Rockdale County, right? That was the first thing. So we had to go to Rockdale County, a trial there with the notary commission, because she made a complaint there. Didn't win. She didn't win that case because, again, everything we do is above board. So nobody lost their notary rights, notary stamp, none of that. Okay. Didn't work here in this county. So then she went to the county where the property was and filed a warrant for my husband and I. So we had to both go to court, right? It's just continuous things that continue to pretty much have us coming out of our pocket with legal fees. So I don't know if that's her aim, but I do know that there's a little mental illness there. So, you can literally look at the posts, some of her posts. She's like, Jesus gave her an STD. It just gets wild, y'all. So let me get back to where I was. So we go to court for the notary, for the warrants, right? The applications that she filed for that. And again, she didn't win that because everything is above board. It is not illegal for a member of a corporation to notarize a document from a corporation. That's why she's like, oh, you have interest in this, so you can't. So I'm like, okay, listen, you sit with an attorney. An attorney has interest at the table with everybody at the table, the buyer, the seller, the lender. They can notarize your signature. Your signature. They're not notarizing their own signature. And I could see if he was notarizing his own signature, I was notarizing my own signature. So she just was oblivious and not understanding any of that, right? Even after the judge explained this to her, it was like, woo, over her head. So it gets better. When I tell you it gets better, Telsha, we get to court, right? After this, now this court date, what was this one for? The vandalism. So she went back to the property, vandalized the property, spray painted the property. I know I'm skipping over things because that wasn't that court date that she attacked me in court. Let's back up. I think that was, so the police she went and moved into the property, right? Year afterwards, after all this, she had some stuff going on with her husband. Again, I told you, mentally ill. She ends up moving into the property because she had nowhere else to go. When I say wicked, witchcraft, all kind of stuff like going on in that property. And she calls herself the voodoo queen. So go figure. But anyway, so we had to evict her out of the property. Once we evicted her, the next day, we found out from somebody that lives in the neighborhood that she went back into the property. So again, I had to call the sheriffs again. So they go out, over there, and this time they arrest her for criminal trespass. So that's where we were in court for. So this was because I've been in court with her so many times. Okay, so now we're in court again for criminal trespassing. This time, can you come? Do you mind coming and telling some of this story?
I don't mind.
So we are in court for trespassing. This girl, as she's on the stand, she is just, the judge sees that she's becoming really irate. So they're like, okay, calm down a little. The sheriff, after I had spoke, told me, hey, I'm going to walk you guys out. Okay. So he seen her just kind of getting enraged, and he decided that he was going to walk us out. I'm walking out with the sheriff. What happens? Uncle, tell him what happens.
She's walking out with the sheriff. I'm in front of her. Next thing I know, she runs over. I have lost everything. Grabs Courtney by the hair and socks her in the face. And they go to the ground.
Yes. Uncle kind of went to the ground too.
I went to the ground too because I'm like, no.
Trying to separate her hands from my hair.
Yeah.
So, appreciate you for that. Right? Yeah. But honestly, guys, 40-something years, I'm 40 years old, 41. I have never been in a altercation like physically. And I am in here on the courtroom floor. This blew my mind, first of all. Totally blew my mind. And she's screaming and she, but again, I had been warned by people that know her well. You can again look at her Facebook feed and know that she is out of it, like demonic, like, she needs to be medicated for sure. She needs help. If it's even possible at this point. So that's that. Then we have vandalism, so she goes back and vandalizes the house, spray paints her kids' initials, does all this voodoo, bury a potato in the backyard and tell us about all this stuff. And we go to court again. Like it's never ending, and death notes, and she's even sending them to the judges. She's sending them to the attorneys. She's sending them to me. I'm trying not to disclose everybody.
Those pictures, those on the front window when she put all those pieces of paper up.
Oh, you know what? When they evicted her the first time.
Yeah, okay.
She had put up all these papers in the windows, right? That with my company. They don't own this house. I own it. They illegally evicted me. All these things.
A whole conversation
where anybody who wrote by could just stop by and read it. And, so it's been mind blowing. And this has been almost a 3-year
Yeah, it's
You
been three
realize
years.
that?
Yeah, it's
This
been
has been
three
a
years.
3-year
Mm-hmm.
situation. So she tried to come and sue me. Of course, I got a countersuit, pretty much everything. Everything she's lost because she's been completely in the wrong. Okay. Um, we've won 4. We are going to, I wish it was over, but we're going to back to court at the end of the month for the damages. I know I'm not going to get any monetary judgment,
No.
paid from it. But it's almost like, do you just let it go, or do you continue to allow her to keep? Again, this isn't going to stop her, I'm sure, because unfortunately, there's a issue. I just, to be on this side of it is mind blowing.
It's crazy.
Mind blowing. Tell Sha, girl, send one up for your girl, because this lady needs some help.
She does.
I mean, she has been sending emails to the judge's chamber telling them how things are gonna just go bad for them. They broke the law. Nobody will touch her case because they see the judge was in the wrong. It's just, and it's not that nobody will take her case. Well, it is that nobody will take her case because, again, that's a small community, right, of attorneys that deal with the things that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so they talk amongst each other. They can sense crazy, right? They can sense crazy. And it's just an unfortunate situation. But this is some of the things that you go through in real estate on this side.
On this side.
It really is, because you got people that don't know the laws. And so they'll get out here, purchase these properties, and they're breaking the law by entering the properties because they're not supposed to be possessing the properties, right? But they will reflect that on you. That's wrong, and you shouldn't be able to get properties that way. So what you're saying is, if homeowner loses their property, they should have the right.
Yeah.
If the law's written that they have a right to dispose of it, just because you bought it at a tax sale and don't know the laws doesn't make it right for the homeowners to lose that right. That's what we're purchasing, that homeowner's right. And it's like, people don't get it.
They don't get it.
What's been your either biggest takeaway from this experience? With her, yeah.
The biggest takeaway really is that people don't understand. They go into it thinking that it's easy for them, and it could be easy if you do everything by the book. And that's what I take away from it.
Yeah.
And well, we all know people crazy.
People are crazy.
People are crazy in different levels, and people do anything to defend what they already know they're wrong about.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
So
she
real.
knew she was wrong.
And
she had been told by other people. Yeah, she knew she was wrong, but she still wanted to defend herself.
And that's the thing. She said that. Well, I knew that I,
was supposed to do this.
Exactly.
And that. She said all of that.
So why not take it in the chin? You pay your stupid tax, right? Yeah. You pay for a lesson learned, and let that be that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I want to say too, because I think it's very funny. Once she hit me and tell how that went, because Uncle was like, I can't believe you, Courtney. But anyway, tell me your take on that.
After she hit Courtney, everybody was shocked in the courtroom, even the judge and everything. And Courtney just sitting there straight face, trying to help her, telling her, you need to get your life together. This is why things like this happen to you, Portia. She consoling her, and Courtney didn't shed a tear. She didn't do anything like that. Normally when people get mad, they and get excited. She didn't have no kind of excitement. She was just as calm as I don't know what. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you calm like this? You just got attacked in court. So
and I don't know. Yeah. Okay, there's nothing I can say. I don't know why I'm like that, but I know. Yeah. I mean, you know how I am emotional maturity or whatever it is. You just hope and you empathize with people like that maybe they'll see something wrong and seek help, because I'm the wrong person to go after. And I feel like if you keep fighting me, you keep fighting everything and everybody, you're just going to attract more things to continue to fight about.
That's true.
That's it. I mean, so it's just like the latest thing I learned through my attorney, she sent an email to the judge and my attorney the other day and said that she had filed a police report on me now because I hired a hitman to kill her. This shit is hilarious, man. It's hilarious, but at the same time, it's very tiring. Yeah. It's taxing. It's you're degrading my character. It's just crazy, But so these are things that people necessarily don't talk about, and I'm probably not the first person that something this wild has happened. Well, this is wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
This is wild, but I'm sure people have had experiences in the past. But this right here is next level, straight up. And listen, I've been a call okay after she hit me, no cap. I'm sure. I'm proud of you, cousin. You handled it well. Yeah, I mean, because speaking to some of my friends, I was like, girl, we would have been all over that courtroom. All over it. And if y'all know me, I'm just like, I can't wait to see the video. I'm on the laugh. So I ordered those. I ordered the videos, actually, the courtroom videos, and then the body cam. So I got to see it. But the officer, he was so quick. I thought I was gonna get to laugh and sniggle, but he was so quick. Time she grabbed me and hit me, broke my glasses. It was, she was on the ground. But this is just wow, y'all. It's things that you just never think that you would have to experience at all. I'll be in touch with you after the live to advise on how to handle this. Okay, I appreciate it greatly. I really do, because just the moment I think that everything is thawed out and we're good to go, she's gonna focus her energy elsewhere. Yes, she there's something else, right? It just doesn't end. And what I'm afraid of her popping up at my house, because she's put my address last year or a few months ago, whenever, right, all over the internet. And I would hate to have to, I just hate for something to happen. I'm gonna definitely protect my family, but she's totally insane. Totally. Kids have been taken from her. And of course, if she's sending a message to us, then it's you're the reason I lost my kids. I lost my house. I lost my kids. And that's not the case. But I just went from being, a little personal to, but it's still, we're still on topic, right? It can be a beautiful business, but again, it's not always pretty. You see people's highlights and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, oftentimes. But again, it's not always pretty. It's not. And when I tell you, just like the way I handled it in the courtroom, it definitely takes some emotional maturity. Because in any type of business where you work for yourself, emotions, it's ebb and flows. So, business isn't always good and isn't always bad. And you just have to know how to cope with those things, naturally. But, you just wish you could help, even when we were putting the girl out, right? Sheriffs are there putting her things out. I said, I know she's probably not going to take this, but will one of you go over there and offer her $1,000 to be able to go get her U-Haul to put her things in a room? And I said, I know she's not going to take it. And of course, it was, money don't move me. And it's material things. He had some beautiful furniture, y'all. Beautiful furniture. If she wasn't a devil, I would have backed up the next day and came back and got the stuff. But, again, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, man. Savage. Savage. And I'm just, it's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. She lost her children. Matter of fact, went and dropped one off, right? She tells everything online. So she went and dropped the kids off. She's even written us in an email and in a book. Yeah. Dropped them off at a place because she couldn't take care of the kids, or mentally she was kind of going through. And she, I guess, planned on committing suicide, and that ended up changing, whatever. So she dropped the kid off, left a note for whomever to,
how to take care
of the baby. But then when you hear her story, they took my kids from me. You gave your child away, baby. And the crazy thing about that is, like, She spray painted the kid's name all on the house. When we put her out, the one thing she let everybody take all the furniture. Told the neighbors, "Oh, you can come get this." The one thing she had brought back in the next day when she broke back into the house to live was all her kids' things and put them in the room. And so, you
and the computer,
you empathize with that kind of stuff, but you just can't keep fucking with people like that. Excuse my language. You can't keep coming for me. And I'm a person like that. I'm just now speaking about this, and I don't even know why I felt the need to. I just want to.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you did. I just want to because in reality, she feeling it. I can make you feel what you did to me without saying a thing or doing a thing. You know what I mean? Just mental weaponry, attorneys, doing what I have to do to counteract the shit you doing. I don't want to have to keep going back and forth, but in some cases, like, they don't leave you a choice to do, but to, I'm just not going to let it keep going and, I'm going to let you keep stomping and whatever. I'm sorry this happened to you, family. This is maturity. This type of maturity is always required. Shaking my head. It has been one of the wildest rides ever.
It's been fun.
For him because he like a mess. It's been fun for him because he like a mess.
It's been
but fun. The good outweighs the bad in real estate. I'll end on a good note. It definitely does. It creates time freedom. And the options. Nothing like options. And you try not to let the evil people, the negative people, and things like that consume too much of your time. I don't care if it's my mama, that's toxic. Whoever, I know I'm gonna have to deal with you long handle, or my whoever it is, I can love you. We can spend time together how we spend time together. You know how it is with negative people. Yeah. I ain't going on no trip with you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Certain things you can do. And I'm just like, how do I make sure that I don't allow my real estate deals like this, people like this to just
bet you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bet you.
Absolutely. Can't do it. So I'm usually pretty good at compartmentalizing things like that. But I guess it's just on my heart to get this out. And thank y'all for listening. And I hope there was some learning points in there, because it was just more so, hey, y'all, listen, I got to get this out. Let
me say something.
But hopefully there's some takeaways within this live. I won't hold y'all too long. We've been on here almost 30 minutes. But again, this is a wonderful business. So don't let my story deter you from anything. Wonderful business. If you're going to work it from the standpoint of which we work it, you do need to be prepared for some resistance, because these things happen. And people aren't always, I get plenty of people that are in the business, just for their interest, the 20%, right? So they're okay when you come and say, hey, I'm here to redeem, here's your 20%, because that's all they're here for, the passive income, the interest on the money. And then you got others that, again, don't know the law and go into these properties when they're not supposed to, and they end up in a situation and they're not as mature, right? So they put you in a situation, and it is what it is. So know what you're doing, know the laws. It's very simple. You can go to any other commissioner's website, click on tax sales. They usually have guides, right? Redemption guides. They literally tell you everything you need to know. So, I hope you enjoyed the story. It's a good ass story. It's so much more to it. Imagine reading somebody's Facebook post and they telling you Jesus gave them an STD and and the judge wrong.
Yeah.
And he did this, and I filed a bar complaint against the judge, the attorney. Man, this help all the church.
She is. Really is.
Arthur Jane, Uncle be giving her a run for her money, baby.
Yeah, I do.
She do. And just doesn't. She just will not. I don't care if the law is right there in the face. I'm sending you the statutes so that you can see a corporation, a member of a corporation. It is legal for them to notarize a corporate document. that is a signature of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Attorneys do it all the time in closings.
Sure
they have interest in those situations. They're corporations. They can notarize everybody at that table.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Except for themselves.
Exactly. So, hopefully we spoke about it and maybe that'll release some demons in her. You know what I'm saying?
Will.
Maybe it will. Because
she gonna be all right. She gonna be all right.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point, it may sound cruel. I don't care if she is or isn't.
Yeah.
I've tried to care, and
you even offered her. You like, let me give you $1,000 on the eviction day.
I just mentioned that a few
you did?
ago.
Okay,
yeah. I did literally try to do that.
I said no, don't give her nothing.
Yeah, everybody said no. My husband wanted to argue with me because no, don't. But I said, listen, I got to do what's on my heart, and whether she take it, or not, it is what it is. But yeah, so that right there, y'all, it's so much more we can say. We're just gonna keep it light. And what's that? What them O's mean? I don't know what that is. But anyway, keep it light. It's this shit. Yeah, send one up for your girl, Cuzzo. But we're out of here, y'all. Thanks for joining us today. All right. Have a good one.